So I'm going to show you how to use Myfitnesspal now. Firstly, you need to download it from the App Store if you haven't done so already. There's a few ways to do it. The most accurate way to input on Myfitnesspal is to click on Diary. If you can see that, second across next to Home. Okay, so click on there, and you can see here it's got all the different meals. Now it doesn't really matter where you put it within which meals you put it in too much, to be honest. Now the most accurate way to use Myfitnesspal is to scan. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Add Food here. Okay, on here, and can you see it says Scan Barcode here? Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and then what you need to do is you need to hold up the barcode and you need to line this up. Okay, and you need to get it inside, and you'll see that once I've lined it up, it will come up with what I've got. So you can see it's Babybel, 42 calories. Now this says serving size 24 grams. You have to be very careful with the serving size because sometimes you have to look at the packaging. So I believe 24 grams is one Babybel. Now obviously if you have it in the whole pack of Babybel, so I've only got 3 in there, so that means I'm going to need to log, so serving size 24 grams, so I'm going to need to log it as number of servings 3. Okay, it's really important you put in the right weight and the right serving size. Okay, so 3 of those. So I've typed in backspace 3. Okay, and then I'm going to click the tick when I'm ready. Okay, so that's one part. Now, the other thing you need to do is when you're using things like, for example, if you're making like a chicken curry or something, you'll need to weigh your food. So you might not use a whole, you're probably not going to have a whole pack of minced beef to yourself. You'll probably have a half or a quarter. So what you need to do, if you're making like a curry or something, you need to weigh out every single ingredient. So for example, if I'm going to have like a half of that, it's obviously going to be 250 grams. And you can roughly do half of it, but it's much more accurate if you weigh it to the gram. The more estimating you do, the more room there is for error and the less likely you are to be within your calories. So you have to really be precise, especially in the beginning. So measure every single ingredient. So if you're making spaghetti bolognese, for example, I would have, say, passata. So I'd weigh out my passata. I'd have minced beef. So I weigh out my minced beef. I have peppers. I weigh out my peppers. I have onion. I weigh out my onion. Have spaghetti, I weigh out my spaghetti. So every ingredient, the only thing I won't weigh is my dried herbs or spices, okay? I think there's a few calories in there, but not many. Now, the other thing you need to be wary of is people don't realise is cooking oils. So if you're using any vegetable oil or olive oil or spray oil, you need to scan it because this is actually 124 calories per teaspoon. So it's quite a lot of calories. And if you're using this to cook, say, breakfast, lunch and dinner, that's like 380 calories a day. Times that by 7, that's like what? Over 2,000 calories a week just on oil. So it's really important that you scan and put in your oils. Also, don't forget, when you make a cup of tea, put your tea components in separately. So put your sugar in as one part, put your milk in as another part, and put your tea bag as another part. So Myfitnesspal has a generic tea, but the problem is the milk quantity might be different. It might not include sugar. So always put it in as 3 separate components. So find your Tetley or your PG Tips, whatever tea bag you have. Find your tea bag. Make sure it's just a tea bag. Actually, more accurate than that, scan. If you've still got the packaging for your tea bags, scan it. Okay, so I've got Yorkshire. Okay, I've got Yorkshire tea bags. Now, I don't believe, the annoying thing is with tea bags is they don't actually put the calories on here, which is really annoying. Alcohol is the same, by the way. I've never seen a bottle of booze with calories on it, which is really annoying. So actually a tea bag is 1 calorie. That is insane. So 1 calorie per tea bag. Then your milk's like roughly, what, 20 calories? And I think sugar's like 40 calories. So Just need to add it all up though, needs to go in. So tea, coffee, make sure you put in every single component. You're putting in your coffee granules, your milk, your sugar, okay? You can put in your water as well. Water's got no calories, but it's good to log your fluid intake. There is a bit at the bottom where you can put in your fluid intake. So if you want to start logging your water, you can click add water and you can put in, so I think it's about 100 mil, I believe, per mug. I might be wrong on that. We just check. Okay, so 1 gram is 1 mil. So this is quite a big mug. There's 320 mils of water in that, and that would be a cup of tea or a coffee, depends on how you have your coffee. So log all your cooking oils, log all your sugars, log all your tea, log all your coffee. Don't forget your smoothies, shakes, juices. Juices are super high in calories, so orange juice, apple juice, pineapple juice. If you have any those naked smoothies, log it all. Everything that goes in your mouth, every bite, lick and taste, BLT, needs to be logged. Every liquid, every solid, okay? Every single thing. If someone's cooking you a meal and you're not sure, the best thing to do is ask them. So like, say your mum cooks you tea and you're not really sure what's in it, just be like, oh mum, what did you put in this then? And try to get a run by run of ingredients. Now you're not going to know exactly what she's used, and you might not know, you're probably not going to know the quantities. You're best off overestimating when you're not sure. So again, you could be way off, but go for the best you can. The other thing that's quite tricky is, if you're having things like a Nando's, it will be in there and it'll be fairly accurate. But if you're having like a kebab, you'll struggle to find the exact, and it's really hard to know. The differences are so different. But just put in something. You're better off putting in something than nothing, and always choose the higher calorie options, because you'll see like loads of different options in there. Always find the highest calorie versus the lower calorie. Now there's a few other things I want to show you that you can do. So what you can do as well, you can see where you've got add food. Now if I was to search, and again ideally you scan, but some of you may have deleted the original packaging of your whatever it is you're putting in. So can you see how traditional breakfast got a green tick? Green tick means it's been verified. So people put some really crazy entries into Myfitnesspal that are just so mental. They're just not at all accurate. Green tick means it's been verified, so it should, still not 100%, should be fairly accurate. So when in doubt, use a green tick. Okay, so you have to search for the green tick. So say I'm having, I don't know, porridge, for example, but I've thrown away my packaging and I've just put it in a container. So I'm going to need to type in porridge, I need to search, and I will look for green ticks, okay? If actually even better than that is if you go on Google and you search the brand, if you know the brand, and find it on like Asda or something, that's probably the second most accurate way. So most accurate way number 1 is scan and weigh. Accurate way number 2 is to Google. Accurate way number 3 is to green tick check. So always go for the green ticks. And again, make sure, so if you click on serving size, you'll find there's lots of options. This has got 1/3 of a cup, a gram. I personally prefer grams over cups. Cups are so vague. Like, what is a cup? A cup can be totally different. Now, if you have like a regular meal, so say for example you have a spag bowl like every week, and you pretty much use the same ingredients every week, which we all tend to do. We don't vary our ingredients, it tends to be the same. You can make your own meals on here. So what I mean by that is if you click on add food, I'm just going to chuck in some random things just as an example. So you just basically put all your ingredients together. So you fill in the meal, all the components, okay, right? And once you've done that, you can see the 3 dots in the bottom right underneath the meal. Click save as meal, okay, and you can take a photo of it as well. You can name it. So say for example that was, I don't know, spag bowl. You can type spaghetti bolognese. Now next time you come to do that, when you go on add food, you will be able to navigate it. So you click on add food, meals, And this will show, these are all my meals, this will show the meal that you've pre-entry. So this just saves a lot of time when you've pre-saved the meal. So you just click on the meal that you want to put in, and you're like, oh yeah, my yogurt, berries, protein, nut butter, great, and just pop it in. So that just saves you a lot of time. Now there's another thing you can do. If you know the calories of something you're eating, I wouldn't advise this because it doesn't include your nutrients, just the calories. So write the 3 dots on add food, and you can click on quick ads. Okay, so quick ads enables you to just type in calories. So say you knew it was 265. There is the odd shop, or like usually independent shops you go to that just write on their like calories. They just put the like randomly just have the calories on there, but no barcode, as in like that you scan and pick up the nutritional information from. So you can do that. That's one option. You can see that the fat, carbs and protein are all locked because it wants me to upgrade to premium, so I can't touch that, but I can do that. Okay, so that's another feature. I wouldn't advise adding exercise. Now the reason being, if I've set myself a goal, this is not my goal by the way, 1339 is the goal on here. Now if I'm eating, say I hit 1339, if I then do a walk and I log my walk in, and it tells me I've burnt 200 calories in my walk, what it'll do is it'll chop off 200 calories. So where I've hit 1339, it'll go, oh actually, you've gained 200, so it'll drop, I'm trying to work out the maths, it'll drop me down to say like 1,100. So it makes me think, people don't even know this, it'll make me think I've got an extra 200 calories that I can consume, when actually I wouldn't do that because people end up overeating. So I wouldn't add your activity into here. If you do, just be mindful of it and make sure you don't eat back those calories. You kind of stop and exclude the number. You have to sort of do the math. But I wouldn't really advise linking it. Okay, so that's another thing. So the other thing you can do, when you go save as meal, you can actually see the nutrient component. So when I go save as a meal, I'd sometimes click on this just so I can see the protein for the meal, but don't actually save it. And the other thing, when you go on add food, you can go on, sorry, not add food, so 3 dots again, copy from date. Now what that means is if you know you had a meal, say Saturday, and you're going to have the same meal today, you can find Saturday and go, right, I'm going to have the same thing I had Saturday, and it'll help you pick up the same meal. So again, it's just saving you a little bit of time. So if I scroll back through to Saturday, for example, it's not working for some reason, but that's what you can do. The other thing you can do is copy to dates. So say you had like porridge today, you're going to have porridge tomorrow, you can click 3 dots, you can click copy to date, and then you can copy it to tomorrow. So it will pre-enter that meal for tomorrow. Now you can do this as you go. You can do this the night before and pre-plan your meals, or you can do this at the end of the day. Something I do if I'm really busy is I collect all the packaging. So if I've been out for the day and I've had like a sandwich and I've had like a packet of crisps, I will literally keep like a carrier bag of all my packaging, and when I get 5 minutes I'll just go through and start scanning. So that's another thing you can do. And then when you finish, you can click on complete diary. Now, the one cool thing you can do in notes is if you put like how your appetite was, how your hunger was, how your energy was, if you start noting any bloating, anything like that at all, that's really handy for me to go back in and I can see, okay, so Marie or Kelly, whoever had bloating on that day, and I can pick up patterns between like how you're feeling and what you've had. So that's quite handy. Also, when I give you your goals, if you click on 3 dots in the bottom right hand corner, more, click on goals, where I've given you your calories. So Myfitnesspal will work out your calories, but it's not always 100% accurate, so I wouldn't always use that. If you go on goals, you can pop in, right, nutrition goals here, and you can pop in calories that I've given you, and you can also pop in, now I won't give you carbs and fats because studies show that low carb diet versus a high carb diet, the same amount of fat and weight will be lost when the calories are the same. This is why I don't give carbs and fats. It doesn't really matter. As long as your fats don't drop below 30 grams a day, which is pretty much impossible, you'll be fine. So carbs and fat doesn't matter. Well, I've given you calories, given you protein, so you can pop your protein in. So that just means throughout the day, a bit like if any of you have used Quick Scan in those shops, it's basically the same kind of thing. You're scanning as you go, so you see what you're totting up your calories throughout the day. So then you can glance down the bottom and see where you're at. So I'm just going to see if I can find a day where I've actually got some entries. Now, oh, sorry, along the top, I forgot that. So you can see there's my goal. It's not my actual goal, but there's a goal. There's what I've had, and that means minus means I'm over. So you can, if you just check it throughout the day, see where you're at, you can see how many you've got left. Now, few tips to stay within your calorie intake. Number one, more volume. So veg, fruit, and salad will give you more volume. So firstly, lower calorie foods enable you to have more foods within your calories. So it's a bit like if you go to like M&S or like the supermarket and you do a shop. If you buy the cheaper items, you could buy more of them. Does that make sense? So if you pick up the lower calorie items, you can have more food. So you can, number one, have lower calorie foods. Now, the only thing with that is you might not be as satisfied as if you have higher calorie foods. The second thing is to have fat, carb and protein within the meal. That will help fill you up more. So for example, if you had salmon with avocado and maybe it's like sweet potato. So avocado is your fat, salmon's fat slash what's more of protein, have lots of vegetables and sweet potato. So having the balance of the three different macronutrient groups, the carbs, fat and the protein, will help fill you up a little bit more. So having meals that are big enough that they do fill you up. Now, don't forget, you don't want to be in the red zone. So when you've had a meal, you don't want to be stuffed and bloated. You want to be satisfied, okay? So don't allow yourself to go bloated, but you want to feel comfortably. When I say full, I mean like the hole in your belly's filled, okay? So you want to get to that point. That's the best way to be. So firstly, make sure your meals are big enough. Secondly, make sure you've got like half a plate of salad, fruit or veg. That will really fill you up. A good amount of protein, so roughly 2 palmful size of protein, or a quarter of your plate, depending on the size of your plate. So a good hefty amount of protein and fruit, veg or salad with every meal. That will help you fill you up. Lots of liquids. And just remember the difference between physical versus mental hunger. Physical hunger being that your belly, there's a hole in your belly that's rumbling and you feel really hungry, like you actually feel like you're going to chew your arm off. And then there's also like, I just feel like eating. Avoid the urge to eat when you feel like eating. Some of the things you can do when you're craving eating but you're not actually physically hungry. Drinking water, cleaning, distract yourself, do something to keep yourself busy. Make yourself have a cup of tea instead, have a cup of coffee instead, have a sugar-free energy drink, have a sugar-free soft drink or diet soft drink. Things like that will just help tie you over. Chewing gum, go for a walk, do some exercise, distract yourself from the craving. The craving will pass. So if you avoid giving in to cravings, you have substantial meals with a good balance of nutrients, lots of fruit and veggies, protein, salad, you will find that you naturally will have a lower calorie intake for the day. So also be wary of things like condiments, so like your sauces and stuff. Keep your sauces to a minimum. Go for low-fat sauces where possible. Go for more spicy style food or tomato-based food over creamy cheesy meals. Where you do have creamy cheesy meals, go for making your own with like low-fat Greek yogurt, zero-fat Greek yogurt, zero-fat natural yogurt, low-fat natural yogurt. So you see what I'm saying? So low-fat, no-fat options will bring your calories back down. So those are some things you can do. So hopefully that was useful. And if you have any questions, let me know.